Hello friends, welcome to another Pywarriors video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how you can deploy your VimWiki as a website and access it anywhere from any device. For that, first let me show you my workflow. I have my Tmux session opened here, as you can see. Now let me show you how I access VimWiki inside of Tmux. So inside of Tmux, I will press the shortcut key that I assigned for a display pop-up. For example, here I am using escape and G, and it will open a display pop-up here, and it will open a session with VimWiki opened inside of it. This is also a Tmux session, so that I can just close it with an escape plus D key, just like I close any Tmux session. Then if I opened it again, it will be where I left it. For example, here, so now I am going to open a page inside of this VimWiki, for example Linux docs, and I'll add some text here so that you can know how it will be displayed here. So for example, let me have like a command here like cd, then change directory. So now when I save this file, you can see that it takes a while for this command to execute, and you can see that there is a message which came up. So what is happening is that there is a script that is running in the background which creates a commit and then pushes it to my GitLab repository. So now let's head over to the GitLab repo. As you can see, this is my GitLab repo with the pipelines opened for this particular repository. So here you can see that my build process is running. So let's wait for the build and the deploy stages to complete. Now that the deploy stages are complete, let's head over to the deployed instance. So here is my deployed instance, and let's reload the page. As you can see that the content that we updated in the VimWiki has been updated here. So now let's check how this is done. So let's get started. Now let's see how I launch the display pop-up inside of Tmux. So here in the left side you can see my Tmux config. So this is similar to any other Tmux config. The main thing here is I have a one-liner which binds the G key to the display pop-up command, and the display pop-up command has some parameters here. So the E parameter defines that the display pop-up should be closed when the process that starts the display pop-up terminates. For example, here if you open the display pop-up here, this is launching that tmux.vimwiki.sh command. So if I close the VimWiki here, it will close the display pop-up session also. So if you check the sessions, there is only one session left. So if you open it again and close it again and check the sessions, you can see that Scratchpad session is still there. So that's what E does, and H and W are for height and width respectively, and this XR defines the position of the display pop-up. So this is on the right side of the x-axis. That's what XR means. And then the command that I pass to the display pop-up. So here I am launching a new session, and the A flag makes sure that if the session is already there, it will switch to that session, and if not, it will create a new session. So the S flag means it's for setting the name of the session, and then the command that I pass to the new session. So that's tmux.vimwiki.sh. it's a shell script that you can see on the right side. It does a very simple thing, that is it turns off the status bar of the Tmux session. As you can see, there is a status bar down there for the Tmux. So if I open the display pop-up, I don't want an extra status bar there, so the Vim status bar itself is enough for me. So I turned off the Tmux status bar there, and then I opened the index page of the VimWiki in nvim. And that's all happening on the Tmux side of things. Now let's go ahead and check what's happening within VimWiki. Now let's get on to what's happening within nvim. You can see that I have opened up my lazy vim config here, specifically the auto commands file. So here you can see that I have a auto command to trigger when a buffer is saved. So what I am doing is that I have specified the VimWiki as target directory, and inside of that, whenever a markdown file is saved, I will trigger this specific command. So this command is another bash script. Whenever a markdown file within this particular directory is being written, then it will trigger this particular command. So that's what's happening with the auto commands in the lazy vim. This is not specific to lazy vim. It can be done with any NeoVim setup. So now let's have a look at the upwiki script, and it's also a simple bash script. So what it does is that it switches to the VimWiki repository, and then it will pull and then rebase and auto stash and then add everything and then commit using the time and then push it to the master. So that's all happening in the Vim side of things. So the rest of the things is done in the GitLab. So let's go ahead and look at the GitLab. Now for the deployment setup. So this is my CI file here, GitLab CI. I have two stages here, build and deploy, and I have a couple of variables here like ID RSA VM. This is the private key of my server, and then the server username and server IP, and the rest of them is derived from the GitLab runner. So you have to set up a GitLab runner in your server. So I'm not going to show you how to do that because it will stretch this tutorial unnecessarily. You can look at the documentation of GitLab to figure out how you can set up a GitLab runner in your server. There is like plenty of tutorials out there, and I will link some of them in the description. So this is my CI file, and here there is like two steps, build and deploy, and the thing is that I'm actually running the Docker in 5000 port, as you can see here. So it is mapping the 80 port of the Docker to 5000 port of the host, and that's how I can access the VimWiki. So if you are not running anything else than the VimWiki in that particular server, you can just map the 80 port directly here, and it will just point directly to the VimWiki. And now we can have a look at the Docker file. So the Docker file is also very simple. I'm using the Nginx Docker file based on the Alpine version and Alpine stable. So here I am copying the whole repository to user share Nginx HTML, and also replacing the default Nginx conf here, and also copying the HT password here. So this is the basis for the authentication. And let's have a look at the HT password format. So this is another file just to show you how the format is. So this is the format of the HT password. So here you can set up the username, something like admin or something, and then you have to provide the hashed version of the password. The hashing algorithm would be something like SHA-256. So there is like a lot of tutorials out there which shows the format of the HT password. Now we can have a look at the Nginx conf. If you look at the Nginx config, it's pointing to the index.html. What happens is that this index.html is actually Mdwiki. Mdwiki is a HTML file which, if you put it in a folder containing MD files, it will actually render the MD files in a nice way. So that's it. That's the main portion of this tutorial, how the VimWiki is being displayed. So we just have to put the Mdwiki as index.html inside of this, and it will just work. That's how I render the VimWiki as a website. So I hope you find something from this tutorial. So if you like it, please give it a thumbs up, and please do subscribe to my channel. I'll come up with similar topics in the future videos. So till then, see you, bye.